This episode was recorded live at the National UDT SEAL Museum at Fort Pierce, Florida. Now man, that bottle's my kryptonite, brings a man still down to his knees.
Today we got Rory O'Connor, Navy SEAL enlisted, transitioned successfully to business, very deeply involved in the annual Frogman Swim event to raise awareness and funding for veterans. Thank you, Rory, for coming today. It's a pleasure to meet you, and we'll have a good time here. And we're going to talk about, I'm going to point out a couple of things. I'm confused. Now, Navy SEALs are immensely proud of being enlisted. You know, the officers, okay, they come in and go and all this. But you're a Navy SEAL, but you also, I understand, transition to finance. That's a bit of a novelty. You guys aren't that bright. Obviously, you got something going on here.
We've been accused of that. Yeah.
No, but anyway, I like to point out a lot of, for the audience to understand the kind of the banter between us enlisted. I was enlisted as well, and I grew up to be a big boy too. But the bottom line is the camaraderie, the banter between enlisted SEALs, enlisted Special Forces guys, and the officers. There's always a bit of a friendly banter, because since the enlisted guys are the ones who do the real work. So we'll leave it at that. But more importantly in all this, and I want to get to this today because I think that's very important, your efforts and your work on the Frogman Swim, about our veterans, about bringing awareness. As I talk to a lot of your colleagues today in former Special Forces, a resounding theme that comes up is that we took generations of young men and they were at war for 20 years. Back in my day, you go in, you hit it, gone, you go back, rest. But they were constantly going. And the damage that's done. And frankly, our own communities is becoming much more aware of it and active. But I would probably think that you would say we're still not doing enough. Don't depend on veteran affairs. We've got to depend on ourselves. But could you just talk about how you came up with the concept, the Frogman Swim, where it's going, how you've grown, and just your thoughts?
Sure. We all got together in December of 2009. September of 2009, Dan Cnossen, Lieutenant Dan Cnossen, 24 hours in Afghanistan, stepped on a pressure plate and lost both his legs immediately. And they flew him to Germany. He made an amazing, number one, survived it. But the word went out early December, hey, he's going to need years and years of therapy, recovery, multiple operations. And the community, the Spec War veteran community, and a couple active too, and the open water swimmers, civilians, we all got together, and the mandate was show up with a kayaker and $500 a piece. We're going to swim the thinnest part of the Tampa Bay. We all met. It was either January 2nd or 3rd, and people don't realize Tampa in January is cold. The water is can be in the mid 50s, but the day that we swam, 37 degrees was the air, and the water was somewhere between 57 or 59. Depending on who you talk to, we were breaking ice to get in the water, but it was cold. And we had such a success. They were expecting to raise 10 to 15,000. And I wasn't part of the initial group that put that together, but we raised 34,000. And I was telling you before, I had previously done for a few years a lot of work with Norm Carley. And Norm Carley was he was the XO that stood up Dev Group 6.
Right.
And he and I have become very good friends, and he's former chairman of the Navy SEAL Foundation. He said, hey, kudos on the Frogman Swim. Would you like to make that an event for the Navy SEAL Foundation? So here I've got, one of the godfathers of the teams asking me, would I help create an event? I just cleared the deck from coaching swimming for my son and some other civilians.
Obviously, you still swim.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I coached master swimming, and I did triathlon, and I thought, yeah, that'd be fun. And I had put together a triathlon. So anyhow, first year as a hoo-yah, just everybody get together, they raised 34,000. The second year, 55. The third year, 125. So it kept growing exponentially. And now we're coming up on year 17, and I want to say the total haul now is 12 to 14 million. And we're raising the last few years $1 million a year, million and a half. And that's
And it goes to the Navy SEAL Fund.
all of it goes to the Navy SEAL Foundation. And there's a lot of different organizations out there that do good things, but the foundation, and I don't think a lot of people understand, if the foundation can't do the job themselves, if they're aware of the need, they will address it. And if they can't, they'll find another 501c3 or another resource group to get that done. But you got to say something. I mean, and the answer's not always yes, but it's a big, big foundation. They are the oldest and the highest rated. And that's for a reason, because they're disciplined. And saying no is tough sometimes, but I'm very proud to work for them, and we continue to raise the money for the Navy SEAL Foundation, and they do good things.
Yeah. And I'm sure and you were saying you're going to have multiple swims in different areas. You mentioned San Francisco. That's cold water out there.
Yeah, we probably by about the fourth or fifth year, we were thinking, well, how long will the magic last? How long can we keep raising this money? And myself and Kurt Ott wound up being the core. Two other guys, Dan O'Shea and the outdoor editor for the Tampa Bay Times, Terry Tomlin, who died in 2016. Those guys were part of the original idea, but Kurt and I took it and made it an event year after year, safe, became known internationally. But we decided let's try to get it around. Well, San Diego's overdone. There's too much going on in San Diego. San Francisco, we had some contacts there. We had a couple of decent years. 17 and 18, we raised 34 and 75. But then when 19 came around, the guy that was out there, he was the event director, civilian. He just didn't have the momentum and then the connection in the community. And, an event director for these has got to have connections to the veteran community, active duty, have the acumen to be able to put together and coordinate all these volunteers. It's a lot of work, but we were successful in creating Boston. Boston's now going into its 7th year. We sort of took over some of the stewardship of Annapolis. We're guiding that, but that's part of our stable now. And then next weekend, Charleston Trident Swim. It's going to be their first. It's a 4-mile swim, and that'll be part of the Navy SEAL Foundation group. So the Navy SEAL Foundation generally doesn't raise its own money, but we're a unique event, and we're part of it.
Now, clearly, this is your passion. This is your passion. I mean, you can see it, your demeanor, the way you talk about it. It's your passion.
Yeah.
And it's obviously that's where you get your driving life force from.
Yeah.
Now, it's giving back. Now, how does one, if one wants to participate in a swim, it's advertised, you're ready. I mean, clearly it's co-ed, it's anybody want to come all. But how does one, and just for the audience, if you want to participate in one of these swims,
right.
You go on the Navy SEAL Foundation website, or how do they find out about it, train for it?
Sure. Go to TampaBayFrogmanSwim.com. TampaBayFrogmanSwim.com. Or just Google Tampa Bay Frogman Swim, and it'll come up, and there's plenty of information.
Is there information? I mean, I don't know about you. Me, I consider myself in pretty good shape. If I go to, and at one time I could swim 5 miles pretty good and run another 5. If I jump out there right now, I'm going to have some issues.
Yeah.
So my point is, does the website also say, look, you need to prepare this way?
Absolutely, yeah. It's not a novice swim.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, it's not a.
Doesn't sound like it.
I'm bored this weekend.
I'm gonna go jump in the cold water.
No, and excuse me, I'm not the race director anymore. But the first 5-6 years, I was the event director, and we would really filter out. People would sign up, and we would put in there, hey, this is first and foremost, it's a fundraiser.
Right.
First and foremost, it's going to be an experience and an event. If you're just looking to come out here and beat your chest to swim fast, go find another event. This is, we're raising this money for the Navy Special Warfare family and the Gold Stars, and that's where the money goes. But it's hard. Tampa Bay, and we've had what are called Triple Crown swimmers, which means you've done Catalina, Manhattan Island, and the English Channel. And we've had those guys and girls come out and do our event and say, it's not easy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How far? It's
depending on your kayaker's ability, it should be about 3 to 3.5 miles. And I say that kind of tongue in cheek. Some years, if you get the currents wrong, or the wind shifts, it can be 4 miles, and it's a point-to-point swim from Pinellas County, which is the west side of Tampa Bay, to it was Picnic Island Park, but the last few years from COVID, we've been swimming in the American Legion.
What's like the average time it takes someone to?
About an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours.
Basically a marathon.
Yeah, that's about the average. I mean, the fast swimmers are coming in under an hour and 20. Fast swimmers. We had a year where and my son was one of them. Finished under an hour.
Whoa.
Yeah, those are. He was a D1 swimmer. The other
I was going to say he was a collegiate swimmer.
He was a collegiate swimmer, and the other swimmers were. One of them was a former Olympian. You're not going to bust an hour. Yeah. I mean, I think a respectable swim now is, under an hour and 45 minutes. But if you can do it in 2 hours and you have open water, and you're ready to swim in some cold water, because it will be cold. We encourage people to come out. But, yeah.
Cold water. You SEALs kind of like that. I was a funny story. I want to hear more about what you're doing for the swim event. But Special Forces, for those the audience, Special Forces underwater training is in Key West. That's warm water. That's warm water down there. So I did all my training in Key West, and when we do some operations, we'll go to Key West. I had a different experience. We had something come up, and we popped out on the West Coast, and we weren't really thinking about the cold water, and we got ready to do this thing. And by chance, one of the guys went out to the water just to get wet, and he came back. It was like, we might have a problem here. We might want to talk to our SEAL liaison brothers and figure out how to stay warm. But it's no fun. As you move forward in it, where do you see you? Obviously, you strike as a type individual. Like, okay, what's the next hurdle? What's the next challenge? What are your biggest challenges going forward besides just obviously organizing and have more? Besides obviously getting money, that's what it's about.
Great question, and that's something we have toiled with a little bit. We want to see Boston continue to grow. Boston is usually the first or second week of June. And you can find the Boston Frogman to swim. I forget when it'll be on the website when they open up to register, because Tampa fills up in 10-15 minutes. 150, 160
How many swimmers?
We've had as many as 175.
Whoa, in the water at the same time.
Yeah, well, we have a way to do that. I mean, each one has a kayaker. We send them off in waves. It's timed, and it's organized.
When you say kayaker, meaning?
Each swimmer has a dedicated kayaker
To watch them.
Absolutely.
Let them swim. The kayaker's with them. Yeah. That's, in other words, it doesn't become a life-saving mission. It's a swim.
Well, it's a point-to-point swim, and if you're down at sea level,
you can't see.
You really can't see where you're swimming to. So you got to guide off the kayak.
Yeah. So your kayaker's really, you better pick a good one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And sometimes that's a challenge. I mean, it's hard to find 175 seasoned kayakers. Yeah.
Plus, they got to go out there and train and practice too. They got to know what they're doing.
They should, yeah. Yeah. Now we've been lucky. We've had some pretty good kayakers. We haven't had, knock on wood, we haven't had any serious injuries, no drownings. And when I used to give the brief, I would tell them, hey, this is a serious swim. It's not, it's not 500 yards. It's not a mile. It's 3-4 open water miles. But to get back to your question, Boston, Charleston is standing up, as I said, on the 16th of November. And we really would like to get the word out for people. I mean, everybody's welcome to come in. But just know, again, this isn't a checkoff. This is, you're there to raise funds. And it's $2,000 a swimmer. That's the ask. If you raise $1,500 and you put a genuine effort into it, it's a gentleman agreement.
Right.
But
they got to go out. They got to get the funding.
Right. Well,
they get.
And you get together at family dinner. Let people know. It's 20 people contributing $100 each. That's not that much. But you've got to effectively get out and communicate why you're doing this.
The swim.
And the best people that we have had that get out there and really, really engage are a lot of, mid-aged men and women professionals that were not in the military and want to give back.
Oh, wow.
And want to be involved. Yeah, and it's a tribal thing.
Yeah.
They want to be part of the community, and we built that in Tampa.
And so, if a person wants to participate, they need to, one, think about fundraising. Think about how you're going to do your network.
Number one. Yeah.
Think about how you're going to network.
Right.
Get that money. Two, now you got to prepare for a swim.
Right.
You might want to look it up. You might want to start doing your little Google research, how to prepare for a very rigorous swim.
Yeah.
And because you can't come unprepared. And you better find a good kayak guy.
And you better be good with the cold. And as the water gets, November time frame,
right.
You need to get in a few times.
And are they throughout the year, or normally the Tampa swim's in November, right?
Tampa swim is in January.
January. Whoa.
Second week of January. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's cold. Actually, February is colder.
Wow.
February is colder, but January is pretty cold.
But if they go on the website and they say, okay, I'm not going to be prepared, I won't have the money, this and that for Tampa, but they're going to have one in Charleston.
Right.
A different time of year.
Right.
Or so you have a lead time.
Charleston's going to be in November. We're trying to get that around Veterans Day. We went with what was available in Boston. Boston Harbor's a busy place.
I was going to say that's pretty cold up there.
It's cold. But Jeff Laird's in charge of that. He does an amazing job.
Yeah, but you're Irish. Can the Irishmen swim up in Boston? I mean, normally they get drunk. They get drunk and fall in the water. But I mean, can they swim?
Sure. if there's beer.
Hey, that might be a thing. I put beer and whiskey on the other end of the swim.
That was what was cool about San Francisco. We finished up the swim there, and they had Irish coffees.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And you better not have it beforehand. That's for sure.
No.
So again, for a person, if you want to participate, go on the website, figure out where the swims are, get your funding in order. Again, fundraising. This is about helping the veterans.
Everyone wants to do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to have all the money when you register. And with Tampa, you've got Labor Day, you've got Thanksgiving, you've got Christmas, and the other swims, they try to put it out long enough to where you've got a period of time to raise that money. And then there's charity slots. If you can commit to $2,500 at registration, then you're good.
Really?
You can buy it, yes. And we start ours August 6th, which is in memoriam of extortion on Sunday. We always do it August 6th.
And you register, and so there are different. In other words, it's not. You're flexible on the funding aspect. Not flexible on getting the money,
right,
but flexible on the timing and how it's kind of.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've got people bringing the money in Tampa all the way into March.
Right.
Tampa's event is mid-January, and a lot of times people will come to the after party or experience the event, which is an emotional event. We read the names of the fallen. We jumped in the flag a couple of times, and have the national anthem sung, and then start the swimmers out. And it's great. The sun's coming up. It's a moving event.
Huh.
It really is. You have some experience.
And even if I would think it would draw a crowd of spectators and supporters, if they can donate as well. Obviously, you don't have to be a swimmer to donate. You can come to the event.
Absolutely.
Write a check.
Absolutely.
Help our
That's
vets.
where the money comes from.
Yeah.
It comes from the swimmers, their contacts, and the people that they're. And we've had some sizable checks.
Huh. Yeah. And then obviously it may help if you advertise the beer or the Irish. So you don't have to swim. You can drink, but you got to get money.
Tampa Bay is known for a great after party.
I can imagine Tampa Bay. I already know Tampa pretty well. Tampa will find a reason to have a good party,
yes,
one way or the other.
And I imagine Boston. I've only been up there.
Oh, I would think Boston.
I've been there twice, and
Do you do the harbor right there in the Boston Harbor?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, just like inside of the Constitution.
Oh yeah, there's a harbor hotel up there, right there.
Yeah.
I stayed there a couple of times. Go to watch the Celtics.
Okay.
I remember that. Yeah. And so, and I'm just going. It sounds like obviously you transitioned your military career, active duty reserves, and I find it interesting because talking to the special ops community and your SEAL brethren here today, I find it's part of that whole mission, the swim buddy, the focus mission concept. Everyone seems to find a passion that they're focused on.
Yeah.
In other words, the mission keeps going. Now, are you running and gunning and rucksacking and doing all that? anymore. No, but what you are doing, you're giving back, focused, to somehow give back to that generation who suffered. Obviously, our families, our frogmen, everyone's, we all know people who, no longer capable, hurt, wounded, PTSD, all of the above. But I find it interesting as I walk around the event today that many, many people here have found their new life focus of basically giving back. And I just want you to know I really appreciate it. Thank you for that. And if there's any other thoughts you have, is there something else besides the swim? I mean, obviously you're focused on the swim time, the swim events. Is there another way that you want to transition it? Or is that just your passion? It's kind of an odd question. I was just thinking.
Not at all. No, not at all. In fact, I don't run on time, but I'm glad you asked me that, because when you walk around today, here at the museum, or the spectators that come to watch the Tampa Bay Frogman Swim, we're social creatures.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to belong, whether we realize it or not, to a tribe. All of us do, men, women alike. And what happens, and this is I think, this is critical, especially with the vets that have done, the 12, 14, 15 tours. They still need to belong. And the ones that we really worry about are the ones that go off the grid. They think they're going to go live like Jeremiah Johnson, and 6 months later, it's not a good ending.
Huh.
And so, and that's the extreme. But, for the people that are looking to be part of, and I think most people are, something larger than yourself. You're not getting out to do a swim to get your personal best. You're joining a group of people that are doing something meaningful. And that's, whether I get to do that, as a financial advisor, or, a lot of guys finish the teams and they get into law enforcement or some kind of security work. But there's plenty of people that have gotten into medicine and business, but they still want to be part of the community. And that was the end for me. I was able to stay, somewhat involved with, the SEAL community. That's been a real joy.
Well, it's interesting because people ask me, and I'm sure you just focused on that, is that you're in this team concept. You're in your tribe.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's not there.
Right.
And at first you're like, okay. And then suddenly you're like, no, this is not okay.
Right.
It's not okay.
Right.
And that's where many of our veterans, they go off the grid, is because it's not okay, and they'll suffer in silence, so they'll try to find other outlets.
And men are terrible.
Yeah.
Women, if you look at that, women are very good at, oh, honey, I'll make you a casserole, or I'll be there with my girlfriend, and we'll help you through, post-surgery.
Right.
Guys are terrible at supporting each other.
Yeah.
Just as a rule, not always. And that's what kills them. Guys are meant, are drilled in their head to suck it up, be quiet, you're independent, you don't need anybody. It's okay to be tough, but not to the point of self-demise.
Yeah, well, we're not, especially the makeup of the men who are in SEAL teams.
Yeah.
They're not programmed to go, oh, I need help.
Right.
I need help part. You're like, let me help my buddy.
Yeah.
But they're not programmed to go, I'm a little fucked up today.
That's absolutely.
I'm a little fucked up. And women will say that. They'll come out and tell each other, and they'll have a group, and fine, but you're all right. And I think that's events like the swim allows people to, at least they're going to swim, they're going to watch it, they're going to support it, but at the same time they're thinking, hey, I can be part of this again.
I think one of the greatest joys for me, Marty, in watching what has taken place, certainly raising the money for the foundation and knowing where it's going to and all the good that's been done, but to see all of the little sub-communities that have come about. One of the groups is called the Platoon Wave, and it's mostly veterans, but it's several LEOs that are law enforcement officers. A couple of what they call them patriots. These guys are just some insurance guy who's in really good shape, just loves being around team guys, and he writes a check. Now, some of that can get overboard. Some of those guys start to think they're actually, like you have to slow them down and go, hey.
You and I've seen it where somebody's, they show their badge or a fake badge, or we probably both been in bars where someone's saying, extrapolating about their time, and you're looking at them going, I smell bullshit.
And you smell bullshit accurately. Yeah, so there is that, but it's not. Thankfully that's the exception.
Yeah.
Most of the people that are involved, they're respectful. They don't take advantage of that or parade around and
But they're obviously grateful.
Very grateful.
Yeah.
And we're grateful for them too.
Yeah. Well, I thank you, Rory. It's been a pleasure today, and I wish you the best. And actually, we'll keep in touch. And if ever on our podcast, Warriors Heaven, you want to come back, or there's a new event or anything like that, let us know, and we'll push it for you and put it out there and let the public know. Thank you. Thank you very much.